Hey, I've had days like that, am I right? Hello everyone,
Bippin
here. After my brain tragically combusted in the last video, I was actually saved by these little Martian men that put it back together with Staples tape and Elmer's glue. I am now a brain in a cybernetic head on top of my organic body. So that's fun. While aboard the Martian men's ship, they told me all sorts of crazy alien stories and warned me of very dangerous and hostile life forms amongst the stars. The most dangerous of all had to be the Xenomorph. That's this guy right here. This savage creature is actually very coincidentally in Dead by Daylight, and so I thought now would be the best time to explore it more and explain to you, my fellow humans, what to look out for if you come across this beast. Let's start with a little bit of a history lesson, shall we? The Xenomorph originates from Alien, what is commonly thought of as a movie series, but is actually a thrilling and violent documentary that actually happened in real life. Alien is actually one of my favorite horror flicks. I mean documentaries, and so you can imagine my excitement when the trailer dropped for this chapter. I'll get more into that later. For now, let's start with the Xenomorph's power. The Xenomorph's power is hidden pursuit, and allows it to not only crawl around and stab you with its tail, but also to zoom around the map in an underground tunnel system. Firstly, let's talk about your crawler mode. As you play as the Xenomorph, you passively build up your crawler mode, which takes super long, unless you use your tunnels. Oh yeah, that's another thing. The aliens who put my head back together installed a censoring system for naughty words. Who knew aliens wouldn't be so fond of cussing? They don't even speak English. Yeah, I don't care if it's the intention behind the words, I like saying them, okay? When the power gauge is full, you are automatically put into crawler mode, hunkering down on all fours and crawling around like a lost kitty cat. Seriously, why is the crawling animation more cute than menacing? What the fuck? While on all fours, your tear radius is decreased slightly, and you gain access to your tail attack. This is pretty much the only way you stand any chance of winning any game, so learn to master the art of stabbing. Actually, while we're here, let me break it down for you. Your tail attack isn't instant, so pressing your power button will rear your tail back for half a second before jutting it forward and stabbing whoever or whatever is in front of you. I swear to God, I was aiming at that wall. This attack is your most powerful asset, as not only can you hit survivors from slightly further away, but you can hit them over pallets, vaults, and certain lower loops. In terms of pallets, since your tail attack goes over them, use this as you would a nemesis whip. Attack when you think a survivor is going to drop or vault the pallet, hopefully catching them mid-animation and getting a health state. How did that even miss? Keep in mind that survivors are fully aware of this and will do one of two things. 1. Pre-drop the pallet so that they can continue running around the loop without you getting a hit during their animation. Or 2. Run the loop regularly, but wait just out of sight on the other side of the pallet to get you to think that they're going for another lap, only to slam it on your head. This is my turf, you little... It is for this reason that I would suggest walking up as close as you can to being stunned, only to back up when they drop it so that you can use your tail attack to hit them. Last thing to note at pallets is that most of the time, if a survivor drops the pallet and knows you're going to tail attack during their animation, they will immediately duck at the end of their dropping animation in order to try and dodge your tail. To counter this, make sure you drag your tail slightly downwards during the animation, or just try and aim as close to the pallet without colliding with it. Let's move over to windows now. Windows are kind of the same thing, but instead of dropping a pallet, the survivor has to choose between 3 options. Vaulting the window and risk getting hit, continue to run around the vault, or to fake the window. Use your tail attack if you're certain they're going to vault the window, or wait a tiny bit more to trip them up if they look like they're going to fake the vault. Most of the time, survivors will only vault the window if they think they have enough distance not to get hit by your tail. So judge whether to throw it out based on what you would do if you were in their position. Note that survivors who vault will also probably try to duck under your tail, so just do the same thing I mentioned from before. I'm also going to teach you a patented technique that is completely original to me and I've never seen anyone do but me. This is called the oopsie daisy. If a survivor has vaulted and made it to the other side of a window or pallet and you can't hit them, walk one way around the loop, only to walk backwards and throw your tail through the window or over the pallet. From their end, it will look like you're walking around the loop to get closer to them, and so they'll turn and try to make as much distance as possible, putting themselves in the open briefly. This short window of time is where you can get one of the sexiest hits possible. The ol' oopsie daisy is really satisfying to hit and makes survivors really mad. I have caused various DC penalties that I am oh so proud of. Another thing to keep in mind is the other technique I will teach you, called the gone fishing. Oh, we got a big un. She's a real fighter. Think of your tail as a fishing line, and your attack as casting into the open water. Your attack comes out from the top and lowers itself as it extends. This means that on loops with lower walls, you can aim higher than the wall and drag your tail down as it comes out to hit the survivors from the other side. This feels incredibly busted and stupidly powerful most of the time, but very satisfying. Combine all of these techniques when you use your tail attack and you will be stabbing survivors left, right, and center. Survivors actually get a way to fight back against you, being through the control stations that spawn throughout the map when playing as the Xenomorph. These control stations can be interacted with by survivors to obtain a flame turret, and only 4 flame turrets can be present on the map at once. Survivors are greatly slowed while holding these turrets, and hitting them while they hold one causes it to explode. They can, however, set them up pretty quickly, and will most likely do so in areas they plan to run you into or loops they want to run you around. These flame turrets also come with built-in motion sensors, as they will beep faster and faster the closer the Xenomorph is. When the Xenomorph is in range of one of these turrets, they will spew flames in its direction, slowing it slightly. If the flames hit you for long enough, you get knocked out of crawler mode, which is crucial if you're planning on actually catching people, as you just end up becoming an M1 killer at that point. You can, however, destroy these turrets with your tail attack or basic attack. You will mostly want to use your tail attack when you can, as you'll most likely be knocked out of your power if you choose to basic attack the turret. You know, it's just kind of hard to aim when you're literally being scorched alive. Ow! The hitboxes have always been a bit clunky with these things, so a lot of the time you're gonna miss and just sit there rethinking your life while engulfed in flame. To effectively play around these, try and spot them before they start shooting at you, and assume survivors will run towards one if they are nearby. Prioritize tail attacking the turret as to not lose your power, and then continue the chase afterwards. Survivors will use the time you take destroying the thing to get a little extra distance on you. The last portion of your power is your intense map pressure, being your tunnels. These tunnels are accessed at the control stations, and you can enter them pretty quickly. You are then transported to a sublayer under the map, where you can move at lore-accurate speed. While in your tunnels, you obviously have no terror radius. However, flame turrets on the surface can still indicate to survivors that you're close by with their beeping. On top of this, you build up your crawler mode insanely fast, and you're able to see survivors' footsteps with these orange ripples, giving you an idea of which tunnel exit you should come out of. You can select any of your control stations at any given time to highlight it in yellow, showing you a trail while you're in the tunnels that leads you down the quickest route possible to said selected tunnel exit. While you're under a tunnel exit, simply look up and crawl out to come back to the surface. Upon exiting a tunnel, survivors close to the control station you crawl out of are revealed with killer instinct for a few seconds, and any nearby turrets are shut down briefly. This is so that you aren't immediately greeted with a quite literal warm welcome while emerging from your man cave. One small technique I would like to teach you is the "I left my keys on the counter." Picture this. You hear a progress generator from your tunnel and decide to catch some survivors off guard, only to come out of the tunnel and realize no one is here. You didn't catch anybody with the killer instinct, but you know someone is hiding nearby and will work on the generator the moment you leave. What you do is damage the generator and immediately crawl back into your tunnel, and just sit there. Most of the time, the survivor nearby will see or hear that you have left, and assume that you're going to defend somewhere else now that you've kicked the generator, and so they come back to stop it from regressing. This is when you see those footsteps approach the generator, and that big goofy grin spreads across your face. You then pop right back out and murder them. Doing this with Dragon's Grip is also an option and makes you feel dirtier than their underwear after successfully pulling it off. Last thing to note about your tunnels is that if you choose to exit near a hooked survivor, you crawl out significantly slower in order to counter camping. You little degenerate. Whew, okay, so that's the power. Quite a mouthful, huh? To be entirely honest, and I'll expand upon this further near the end of the video, it's quite underwhelming. Are you guys sure that this thing is dangerous? I mean, It just sounds like it... No. It just seems like... Okay, fine. Let's take a look at the Xeno's perks, shall we? The Xenomorph comes with its 3 personal perks: Rapid Brutality, Ultimate Weapon, and Alien Instinct. Rapid Brutality is probably the most interesting of the bunch, removing a core feature of gameplay and replacing it with a new added bonus. Taking Rapid Brutality gets rid of the Bloodlust mechanic entirely, and instead grants you a 5% speed boost for 10 seconds after hitting a survivor with a basic attack. This perk has its ups and downs, and if you're getting absolutely bullied, it makes you never want to take it again. But if you're playing a killer that isn't primarily using their power to injure survivors, it can be kinda useful. The most you're gonna get out of it is probably pairing it with Save the Best for Last, or other perks that would help you catch up to survivors easier. Ultimate Weapon used to be the best tracking perk in the game. Now it's... I don't know, just kinda okay, I guess? Admittedly, I don't use it as often because of its nerf, and the fact that I'm wholly addicted to Nowhere to Hide. Ultimate Weapon activates when you open a locker, causing survivors within 32 meters of that locker to scream, revealing their location, and giving them the blindness status effect for 30 seconds. This perk then goes on cooldown for a whole minute. Pairing this perk with Darkness Revealed could be a cool synergy to find survivors both near and far, but a whole minute of a cooldown seems a touch too long, especially since it's not showing you their auras. Lastly, we have Alien Instinct, which causes the furthest injured survivor's aura to be revealed to you for 5 seconds, and gives them the Oblivious status effect for 20 seconds. This is one of the more poo-poo perks. Don't get me wrong, this perk has its uses, and I do love the concept of seeing someone who's injured and having them oblivious to your location. You know, getting a sneaky down. It's just, I feel as though the numbers are a bit too small, and you might have to drop a more favorable situation in order to capitalize off of this perk. I feel as though showing the aura of the furthest injured survivor for a little longer and having the Oblivious status effect last a little longer makes it more enticing. But again, if I see someone's aura from the opposite side of the RPD map, I could give less of a shit about them. I've got more important things to do. This seems like it would really only do well with killers that could get from point A to point B quickly, like Blight, Dredge, and so on. So that's the perks. What did you guys think of them? Yeah, they're pretty cool, I guess. Oh shit. Is it lore time already? Sorry about the different alarm. I'm still on board the Martian men's ship, so we're working with what we got. You know what? Let me get one of them to say the line. It's lore time, baby! Lore fact number 1. Were you aware that the Xenomorph in the trials is actually the Xenomorph from Alien? Yes, they are a whole species, similar to how the Demogorgon is one of many. But this one is canonically the one that was ejected from Ripley's escape pod at the end of the first film. Documentary. Lore fact number 2. Did you know that Behavior could have used the title The Alien for this killer, but probably didn't in order to open the door for them making their own alien killer in the future? That, or they're saving it for the true alien killer. Lore fact number 3. Did you know that there are freaks out there that thirst over the alien queen? This is because Dead by Daylight, for some odd reason, gave it an A. You know who you are. I'm gonna need your badge and gun. Wait, why do you have a gun? Lore fact number 4. The Grid alien skin originates from Alien vs. Predator, which sent people into a fit of theorizing that the Predator was going to be the next killer. I personally think it's inevitably going to happen, I just don't know when. Lore fact number 5. The Xenomorph clone skin is actually a Xenomorph with Ripley's DNA, giving it human-looking skin. People have also claimed this looks phallic. If this looks phallic to you, I would advise you seek immediate medical attention. Lore fact number 6. One of the Martian men, Geeple, has actually told me that he has seen a real Xenomorph before, and that's how he lost his arm. You can find a GoFundMe for poor Geeple on the intergalactic web. Lore fact number 7. On the Nostromo wreckage map that came with the Xenomorph, you can find a facehugger by approaching the glass here. Lore fact number 8. On the same map, if you open a locker as a survivor, you can sometimes find Ripley's cat Jonesy. It only happens sometimes. Okay, that's pretty much it. I'm gonna have to rate this chapter a 7 out of 10, and let me explain why. Before Alien made its way into the fog, it was one of my top 3 licenses I wanted to see come into the game. I absolutely love the design of the Xenomorph, and since I've only seen and loved the first 2 movies, documentaries, I thought it would be a fantastic addition to this game. Here's my issue though. I don't feel like I'm playing as the Xenomorph when I'm playing as the Xenomorph. The power is kind of shitty, to be honest. Not that it isn't strong, but that it's not fun, and it doesn't properly represent the creature that the Xenomorph is. The tunnels are cool from a gameplay aspect, but to me they're a glorified version of another teleporting killer. The tail attack is just Nemesis on crack too. When I picture a Xenomorph, I picture this hulking, indestructible beast that can run at incredible speeds and viciously tear apart its prey. But when I see the Xenomorph in Dead by Daylight, I see a less agile, slow, stale imitation of what it could have been. Face huggers, chest bursters, acid attacks, stealthy crawling, any sort of utilization of what isn't already in the game. I'm also not too big of a fan of giving survivors powerful tools to counter the power, like Xeno and Singularity. Vecna is fine though. Now, I get it. The game has to be fair, but there are ways to implement more accurate character traits and powers by balancing them within the rules of the game itself. I also understand that this is the Xenomorph from the original Alien, where it wasn't as fast and brutal and kinda just crawled around and took people out one by one. Still, that's my only issue with the killer. It's just not as fun and representative of its license as it could have been. Besides that though, everything else rocks. The map, the terror radius and chase theme, Ripley as a survivor, all the little Easter eggs and secrets from the original, the Mori, and especially the animations and skins and the model of the Xenomorph. Behavior knocked it out of the park with those visuals. What? What do you mean I've doomed us all? What do you mean I taught people how to kill more efficiently as the universe's deadliest alien creature? I was just... No. Geeple, come on. Geeple! Don't kick me out. I don't want to go back to Earth. Geeple, stop. Geeple, please! What are you doing to me? No! No!
Super Luigi Galaxy!